Buen día, benvinguts, benvingudas. Vamos a iniciar la rueda de prensa. Ya tenemos claro la selección del lenguaje. Vamos a estar hablando en castellano, catalán e inglés, así que tendremos ahí también la posibilidad de la traducción simultánea y luego la ronda de preguntas. Bueno, desde Mercat de Flors estamos muy contentas de ser parte de Flaix de Tardor, de poder desarrollar este proyecto también en colaboración y de poder traer a Barcelona a la compañía Dresden Frankfurt Dance Company con estas dos piezas que nos parecen también fundamentales y que estamos muy contentas de tenerles aquí. Como decíamos, estamos junto a Ioannis Mandafounis y Thomas Hauert, que estaremos también profundizando y compartiendo más sobre la selección de estas dos piezas y la importancia de justamente de rescatar la relación de la compañía con William Forsythe y la creación de Thomas dentro de la compañía. Pero antes quería también saludar a Narcís Puig para que también nos cuente cómo ha sido poder justamente colaborar junto con Flaix de Tardor y poder desarrollar esta pieza en conjunto. Así que bienvenido, Narcís.
Muchas gracias. Bienvenidos, Ioannis. Bienvenido, Tomás. Nada, yo solo quería decir que estamos muy contentos de cerrar el primer Flaix de Tardor, el primer ciclo de espectáculos internacionales que hemos organizado en Barcelona en este otoño, con este programa doble, con dos artistas que admiramos. Es una propuesta, en este caso, del Mercat de las Flors, que nos pide a Flaix de Tardor que colaboremos en esta propuesta y nos apuntamos inmediatamente, encantados, y estamos muy contentos de poder tener en nuestro programa a una gran compañía con dos grandes creadores bueno, ah, esperamos que la colaboración siga en los próximos años. Yo creo que los que tienen que hablar ahora son los artistas. I'm not sure if Thomas Howard is hearing the translation. Are you, Thomas? You have
Yeah, unmute. No, I don't hear the translation. Is there something I can do to hear it?
you
On the right.
Thomas. I will try. I will try. Thomas, you have to select in the bottom of your screen. If maybe there is a walt, a symbol of the walt, or a circle with 3 points.
Yes.
You have to select there an interpretation.
Uh,
Do you found it?
When you click on the three dots, you see a globe.
okay. Yes.
Tap on the globe, and then you will have English. And tap on the English.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No worry.
Don't worry.
Ok, torno al català. Pues torno la paraula a la María José. Gràcies per acollir el Flaix de Tardor en el Mercat, perquè presentis una mica per què guiïs els artistes i que ens expliquin el contingut d'aquestes dues obres.
Muchas gracias, Narcís. Sí, bueno, muy felices de poder cerrar esta primera versión de Flaix de Tardor en Mercat de las Flors con estas dos piezas que, bueno, traen lenguajes únicos, ¿no? Y que contrastan muy bien en relación a la investigación del movimiento. Vamos a profundizar un poco. La Dresden Frankfurt Dance Company es una compañía que nace en 2004 como los ballets de Frankfurt, ¿cierto? Y que luego se fusiona y cambia de nombre en el 2015 y que tiene justamente una tradición histórica ligada al nombre de William Forsythe, a quien, bueno, conocemos muy bien como un gran referente del siglo XX. Es uno de los coreógrafos y creadores que sin duda ha traído grandes aportes a la danza contemporánea. Como saben, nace en Nueva York, pero luego se ha asentado durante mucho tiempo en Europa, principalmente en Alemania. Y bueno, empezó su carrera en el Joffrey Ballet, en los ballets de Stuttgart también. Y nada, más que entrar en el currículum de Forsythe, que todos lo conocemos muy bien, queremos hoy día, a través de la presencia de Ioannis, que es justamente el director artístico de la compañía, reforzar un poco y comentar justamente sobre este nuevo encuentro, ¿no?, que tiene la compañía con William Forsythe en esta nueva creación, luego justamente de haber iniciado con la compañía y hoy este reencuentro a partir de la pieza de Undertainment de William Forsythe, y que es una pieza que de alguna manera cierra un círculo en relación a esta historia de este coreógrafo junto con esta compañía. Y queríamos preguntarle más a Ioannis que nos pueda contar un poco cómo nace este reencuentro, este proceso, qué vamos a ver, ¿no?, cuál va a ser un poco lo que trae la compañía bajo la dirección de Forsythe, y poder profundizar para luego también tener algunas preguntas. Así que, Ioannis, si podemos hablar y comentar un poco más sobre la pieza de William Forsythe que presentamos este fin de semana.
Yes, hello everybody. So yes, as you said, it's I would say a kind of historical company, like we say, simply. The idea of the company is really when I joined as a dancer, this company, it was really a period where we were just improvising all day long. And it had a kind of, there was still pieces from the repertory that Forsyth brought back and everything, but mainly all the creations were, let's try to investigate and see what we can do, and it was mainly based on improvisation. When I had the opportunity to come here and retake the company, this is really something as a dancer that I really loved, and I wanted to offer this to other dancers and to the audience. So I was like, let's go back to this spirit of improvising and creating knowledge, not only pieces. And this is basically what the company is about, what it used to be also, and what I would like it to be also in the future. So the collaboration with William Forsythe, especially on entertainment, it's really about bringing back a knowledge that actually the dancers of today don't have anymore. Or we have it, but we don't know that we have it. Meaning that sometimes we dance and some kind of connections in the body, or stylistically, or even sometimes some qualities. Even at school, sometimes we are like, we are already in it, and many students, for example, they don't even realize where it comes from. Some people, they don't even know his name anymore when I'm going to very younger ages. And then I'm like, wait, there is a missing link here. There is a whole part of the knowledge which historically is there, but was not anymore in the bodies. And the idea of bringing, for example, in that case, bringing him back, it was really, I was like, no, let's do a tabula rasa and restart everything from the first letter of the alphabet until the last one, to really get the knowledge. Because of course we are improvising, and also myself as a choreographer or improviser, of course I come from this background, and the evolution I have is the same, but it's very important to know exactly where you come from to be able to trampolino into the next thing in a way, or to break it down in order to make it something else. So the base for me was very important. And this is also why Thomas is here, but we will talk about this later.
Quería profundizar un poco más sobre, justamente todos conocemos y sabemos que Forsythe ha dedicado muchísimo a la construcción de ciertas metodologías y formas de trabajo, justamente, ¿no?, el poder reconectar a estas nuevas generaciones con estas formas de hacer, con esta sistematización, este estudio en relación al espacio, al cuerpo, al movimiento. ¿Cómo se construye entonces esta lógica de improvisación que propone la pieza? Un poco para abrir la curiosidad también de la prensa. Cuando hablamos de improvisación, cuando hablamos justamente de un método, ¿no?, de una posible, un caleidoscopio, una forma de trabajo, si podemos profundizar un poco sobre cómo se ha desarrollado ese proceso de improvisación y cómo ha sido también esa transformación o ese legado metodológico que aporta William Forsythe.
Yes, so if we go very practically, it is actually a series, I would say it starts with a series of ideas, and we are trying to find exercises or ways to exercise with our bodies in order to put into the concrete world something that we have in mind. So we are basically simply saying, spending a lot of hours to understand how does the body function. Either it is under the domination of a concept or of an idea, or either it is about trying to just understand how it works. So to see what can come out as a concept from it. So it's a one-way street. No, it's a one street with both ways. And basically, this is what's happening in the studio all the time. We are just trying and keeping on working on very often the same elements also. For example, what is my right side? What is my left side? How do they coordinate together? What is the floor? What is the ceiling? How am I in the space between these two or the walls? Or like it starts with very, very simple things. Of course, then the combination of many, many different elements and exercises uh, become compositional, and then it reorientates everything about how we think and how we are in the body. And there are different ways to do. For example, there is William Forsythe, for example, he's very much task based. So he puts a task. So there is something to be achieved. So there is the research, then we realize, oh, something is coming out of it. What is this? And then it becomes a task to achieve it, to be able to produce or to make a piece simply and to dance. Then there are other ways, which could be, for example, forget as fast as possible. It's would be the opposite, for example, but sometimes also not. You are actually functioning in a way, and you're trying to forget how you function in order to open doors to be able to still rediscover your function as new. It doesn't mean you will function differently every time, but you will still understand it or feel a different sensation every time, and this will feed you, will give you a feedback, and on this you capitalize and you work and you continue to advance. So it is very, very concrete in a way. That's why somehow dance takes a lot of time, because it's the most concrete art in the sense that it has to enter in the body. You carry it in your body. There is never going to be an outcome that is out there that you could reflect to. You have to reflect back into your body every time. There is no distance, and you have to create a distance, although you don't have a distance with yourself. So that takes time.
Ioannis, y para cerrar y luego pasar a Tomás, ¿cómo ha sido la experiencia también de Foresight, ¿no? De volver a la compañía, de trabajar con gente más joven? ¿Cómo ha sido ese proceso también para él? Tú que has vivido de cerca todo el proceso como director artístico de la compañía, si nos puedes contar también cómo ha sido la experiencia de William Forsythe.
Well, like I said, I think this time especially it was really going back to the roots. And I think it's very, very visible in the piece because it is bare from anything else than the simple, his simple, let's say, technique. The performativity even of the dancers or what is asked from them is basically to be as true as possible to their task and to do as little as possible of anything else than their tasks. So it is really like stripping down everything in order to go back to like the real, let's say, knowledge that is the source of it all. The important thing that comes out of it is again the knowledge, because this is the only thing that helps us to go forward. And that I have to say, I think it was a great process because I followed it. Of course, the dancers could say more about it because they were in it, but just by following it, I also remembered as a dancer so many things happening. And it triggered a general curiosity to all of us, the fact that actually both choreographers were here and creating, because what's important is to have in a building is to have a vibration of research. For example, it's exactly what happened. Like the other day, there was a rehearsal of Thomas Hauert in the studio, and I was rehearsing with some new dancers that we have in the company in a very small studio. But you could feel from the music, we were really working in the studio and something was happening, and the others were really working in the other studio and something else was happening. And because here is kind of small and we have only one corridor between, you could really feel the vibrations kind of matching and going through the rooms. And this is a little bit what we are looking for. And I think that's a bit what happens when you tap into the knowledge itself. You go like, okay, who are you? Where are you going? This is what you can do, a task. Start digging, and this creates a momentum.
Gracias. Playing with Sergei, Marta and the Others es la pieza que nos trae Thomas Hauert en esta presentación doble que nos hace la compañía. Thomas Hauert es un bailarín suizo, coreógrafo, formado en Rotterdam y luego se establece en Bruselas. Y desde el año 2012 Thomas ha iniciado una serie de creaciones donde me parece que la música, creo que la música ha tomado siempre un protagonismo muy importante. Y es el caso también de la pieza que trae a Flaix de Tardor, justamente trabajando con un concierto de piano de Sergei Rachmaninoff, que es el concierto número 3. Me gustaría un poco que Tomás nos contara justamente la decisión de trabajar con este concierto, de trabajar con este compositor y cómo ha sido la relación de esta pieza musical en el trabajo con la compañía y poder contarnos un poco y profundizar sobre la pieza que se presentará este fin de semana. Tomás, bienvenido.
Hello. Yeah, well, I can say this third piano concerto by Rachmaninoff has been in my head, in my ears, and in my body also. It's somehow in my heart for a long time, and it's also maybe also because it's there is a lot of movement in there and a lot of emotions. It's very super complex. And complexity is something I like in dance, whether it's a solo or it's a group piece. And for me, the complexity in dance is very much linked to improvisation because by improvising there is much more complexity possible than when you want to set things when you want to set things, everything has to go through our kind of conscious analytical mind that is very useful for certain things, but it's not very useful for very complex things, especially in the body where 1,000 things can happen and decisions can be made very fast, much faster than what you can think or what you could comment in your head about or reflect on first of all. So and the music, that music by Rachmaninoff is very accessible. Also, the harmonies, it's very intricately composed, but it is still in the kind of realm of tonal music, even though it's kind of pushing the edges to all directions. And also rhythmically, it's super complex, but it's kind of very easy listening in a certain sense, especially if you listen to music from the later periods of the 20th century that are much more, you have to approach much more from a conceptual or with your intellect. And this is music that you can really kind of indulge in or surf on just with your whole being in a way. And that fact makes it all the information in the music kind of as a dancer, then when you're dancing on that music, you can really kind of just let yourself go in the music and let the body react on the music immediately. At the same time, maybe we've been to Barcelona many times also with my company. Maybe also some of the journalists that are listening know a little bit how I work. So and that's the process. Then I took this company through. Also, we have a lot with my company. We have developed kind of a whole grammar of improvising and on techniques, lots of techniques to generate material on individual body, but especially also generating interactions between dancers in the space, in time, so in rhythms, and in form also, whether it's in contact or in at a distance. So I kind of, first of all, the first 2 weeks or so of the process was really teaching those techniques to the company. And then, while already listening to that music, what's crucial somehow is that by now, or by the end of the process, all the dancers knew really every note of this music, the complexity. So that's also part of they stay very close to the music. They anticipate the music. It's also not even anymore that they react on the music. It's that they anticipate the music. They are like other instruments with Marta Argerich and the orchestra, and they are kind of playing along with them and anticipating things, and really like that. They can be very precise also on the with the interactions with the music, and playing with Sergei, Marta, and the others. On the other hand, that music is such a monument of classical music. It's one of those pieces that legendary, and it's very difficult for pianists to play. So it's also, there's a lot kind of an aura of awe around this piece of music, and especially also this recording of Marta Argerich and Ricardo Chailly is from, I think, 1982, and it's still up there as one of the looked at as. And I've listened to many other versions, and it's true, kind of in the overall, it's so brilliant, and Marta Argerich has such a lot of energy and so differentiated, and it is magical what happened and it's a recording from a concert. Even it's really this one-off thing that happened, this magical moment in music history somehow, that where such a lot of elements were just right. So that to kind of have the pretension of taking that thing and make a choreography on it is how shall I say, it's a bit frech, we say in German. What's the word? Brutal in like, yeah, it's a bit kind of almost a bit disrespectful maybe, but in a playful way. So that's also the title is playing. We took this thing, this monument of classical music and this legendary recording, and we're playing with it, and somehow with the knowledge that it's kind of out there, and we cannot really achieve it. And that is really parallel also to a lot of the techniques that we've been practicing. A lot of the techniques are based on instructions or on tasks that are impossible to achieve. But the fact of trying to reach there and trying to get there and doing your best to try and do it produces very interesting things, even though we never really get there, or we get there for a little moment and then immediately it's gone. So these fleeting moments somehow are part of, I think, the vivacity that then comes out in this play that we do together with that music.
Muchas gracias, Tomás. Vamos a abrir preguntas a la prensa, justamente para profundizar un poco más en las preguntas.
Maybe one thing,
sí.
If you don't mind, that I forgot to say, what's important also is the listening. The dancers keep listening also to the music, and we're inviting in a way the audience to listen to that music together and give in a way what's happening on stage with the impulses and the shapes and dynamics that the dancers produce on stage, give kind of a little help to, because of that complexity, to decipher, to clarify things, or to pull things out of the composition. I think that is what the piece is really doing. That is listening to this composition of Rachmaninoff together and the interpretation of Marta Argerich together, and that's what it's all about. So everybody's listening, and it's this listening experience that is the piece.
En el caso de Tomás, la música funciona más como un estímulo que va justamente despertando estas subjetividades y estas emociones, en el fondo para no proyectar que vamos a ver una coreografía bailada, sino más bien es cómo la danza despierta desde un estímulo musical, que sería distinto a bailar una composición, ¿no? Es un poco esa la diferencia que nos plantea también. Vamos a abrir preguntas a la prensa. No sabemos, no les vemos, entonces estamos aquí un poco a ciegas.
Paula está controlando si hay alguna pregunta.
Y aún no hay ninguna pregunta, pero si alguien quiere...
Ai.
La propia.
Hola, bon dia. La meva pregunta és pel Ioannis i suposo també pel Thomas. Com es complementen? Perquè els dos coreògrafs tenen la seva caixa d'eines d'improvisació i com es complementen? O l'espectador, quina idea, quin contrast hi haurà? Com es complementen aquestes dues? No? És un programa doble, els presenteu alhora i com explicaríeu aquestes dues mirades sobre la improvisació?
Sorry, just to make it clear, we don't complement each other. It is William Forsythe complementing and being complemented by Thomas Hauert. I am the artistic director of the company, but of course, it was my idea to put these two masters of improvisation and choreography together. So I will let Thomas say how he feels being complimented or complimenting Bill.
Well, maybe I can say that when Ioannis proposed me, I was super happy that Ioannis proposed me to make a piece for his company, which I adored, and also then doing it because the company has such a lot of experience in improvisation. We could start from such a high level of experience that I've made pieces for many other companies before, and usually, yeah, the dancers are super excited to have that responsibility to improvise on stage, but they usually start from very little experience on that field. So in that company, that is amazing, and to have that, yeah, then as an instrument, if you like, to start on that high level of experience. So when Ioannis proposed me, I was super excited. But then in kind of, I don't know if already in the same first talk, he told me that William Forsythe is going to be the other choreographer. It was a bit intimidating, to say the least. And first, also, it was going to be taking back a piece. My Forsythe was going to do it was kind of an existing piece, which was already okay. And then I wanted to see what he was going to, the piece that he was going to recreate for the company. But then a few months later, I don't know how that came about. William Forsythe was going to make a new piece. So it made even more, scared me even more. But on the other hand,
that's where my work comes in. That's where my work comes in.
Okay. Then on the other hand, yeah, such an honor for me to have be put in that position and kind of consider that this by Ioannis that this is somehow going to work. Thank you so much for that kind of trust. And then what happened was that I was working with the company first. We started in December and January. We were making that playing with Sergei, and so our piece was pretty much finished by the time Forsythe came and started his piece. And I guess I can say that Ioannis, no. Bill Forsythe then apparently, and now he told me that also afterwards, but I heard it first from the dancers and from Pauline, the rehearsal director, that he inquired what the company made with me, what our piece is all about. He wanted to know everything about it. Apparently, he went to look up things from my work on the internet, and so he really did a kind of detective job. What this other piece in the evening is going to be, and kind of tailor-made his piece to make, what I think, really a stroke of genius he did. Such a fantastic contrast to the piece that we had already made, and the whole evening now works, yeah, so beautifully, those two pieces together. So I owe a lot of thanks to Master Bill Forsyth, or having had that lucidity and that kind of generosity to go and do all that work to make the evening work, and to make somehow make both pieces work and reinforce each other somehow in a way.
I think for me, if I can jump in there, I think because when you direct a company, you wish that these kind of things will happen actually. You wish that not everybody there just comes and make their own piece. You wish that they don't just come to... No, you wish to create a company that will also fit the needs of the choreographers you will bring. So, for example, when Thomas said, I could start at a very high level, this is exactly what you work on. When you see that the both choreographers communicate together to make an evening together, not each of them just to think of their own piece, that's where you go like, okay, we are doing another type of work here. It's not just pulling up a show. It's like, that's why I said about knowledge at the beginning. You bring people to bring their knowledge, and because they are both knowledgeable, well, then they can sit down and discuss and have a coffee together. You know what I mean? And then it sounds very silly and simple, but actually that brings something to the next level. And then everybody's on board. And even with the difficulties, because difficulties exist every day, everywhere, still everybody, from the dancers to the choreographer to the administration to the technical department to everybody, is really working into making an evening function, not a piece and then another piece. And I think this is really what magic happened in that evening. And I hope it will happen again in the future with other, if there is other double bills, it will happen again with future people. So yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you for doing this together, because that was really great for me to see that, to witness it, and to be able to say, oh yeah, wow, can happen differently.
De moment no tenim cap altra pregunta.
Narcís, ¿quieres sumar algo a la
No,
conversación?
yo creo que ha salido todo y que las explicaciones han sido muy extensas e interesantes. Yo creo que si no hay más preguntas, nos vemos en el Mercat a partir del jueves.
Bien, bueno, muchas gracias por abrir este espacio de conversación. Gracias también a la prensa que nos acompañó hoy. Tenemos, como se ha dicho, dos grandes maestros de la improvisación que finalmente presentan dos piezas magníficas que se complementan, como nos ha explicado también Ioannis. Así que muchas gracias, les esperamos en el Mercat y prontamente ya nos veremos. Muchas gracias.
Gràcies a tothom.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.